Hey everyone, welcome back to Thrifted Moments. Today's video is going to be a little experiment, a little science, and a little antique collector fun. I recently placed an online order that I am very excited about. I ordered 2 UV flashlights. These are sold primarily as pet stain detectors, but collectors know that UV lights have a whole other life in the antique world. One is 365 nanometer and the other is 395 nanometer wavelengths. And once they arrive, I start shining them on some of my early American pattern glass pieces. Now, I don't expect dramatic results across the board. Most of my American pattern glass, otherwise known as EAPG, is clear. But that's actually part of the fun. This video is not about everything glowing so much as learning what fluoresces, why it fluoresces, and what that actually means. Plus, I have a few pieces of glass that is outside the scope of EAPG that will likely glow and I will use for this video. Before we dive in, I want to tell you about a moment that stuck with me long before I collected EAPG. Several years ago, I was walking through a flea market. This was before I collected glass seriously, and I saw a pressed glass dish sitting on a table. There was a handwritten sign that proudly identified it as uranium glass. The reason? Well, according to the sign, it glowed pink. Now, even then, without a deep knowledge, that didn't sit right with me. Uranium glass is famous for glowing green, so why pink? That little red flag is what inspired the research I did for this video, because there is some conflicting information online about black lights and antique glass, or glass in general. So today, I want to examine the pink glow, and to do that, I needed to understand the role UV lights play in glass collecting in general. First, a quick reset on terminology. What we casually call a black light is really a long-wave ultraviolet light. It emits light just outside the visible spectrum, and certain materials absorb that UV energy and re-emit it as visible light. That re-emission is what we perceive as a glow, called fluorescence. Here's the most important thing to understand right up front, because it will save you a lot of confusion. What glows and what color it glows has everything to do with the chemical makeup of the glass, and nothing to do with the age or authenticity. EAPG was made over several decades by factories using changing formulas. A glow is simply a clue about ingredients, not a date stamp. And this video is not going to be a long, comprehensive list of different types of glass that glow. This is just hitting some of the high points. When it comes to antique glass collecting, there are 2 UV wavelengths you'll hear about most often. There's the 395 nanometers. This is what most people think of as a standard black light. It emits visible purple light. It's best for spotting uranium glass without a lot of false positives. It makes uranium glass glow in a very clear, bright green, and it's less sensitive to weaker fluorescing elements. If your only goal is identifying uranium glass, especially green or yellow-green pieces, 395 nanometers is often enough. Then there's 365 nanometers. This is where things get more interesting and maybe a little bit more complicated. The 365 nanometer emits less visible purple light. It picks up weaker and non-uranium fluorescence. It makes glows appear stronger and clearer, and it reveals manganese, lead, cadmium, and selenium. This is the wavelength that serious collectors often prefer, especially for clear glass, because it shows you subtle reactions you'd never see under a 395. That's why I chose to buy both. Now, let's talk about what actually causes glass to glow and why those elements were used in the first place. Uranium oxide is a very strong colorant, meaning only tiny amounts were needed, often well under 1% of the glass batch. It was used to create Vaseline glass, canary glass, custard glass, some apple green EAPG, and even certain blues. Under both 365 and 395, uranium glows an unmistakable neon green. The flea market dish that glowed pink, that wasn't uranium. Manganese glows a pale green or yellow-green color. This is where many collectors get tripped up. Manganese was commonly added to clear glass as a decolorizer. It neutralized the green tint caused by iron impurities. Under a 365 light, manganese often glows pale green, yellow-green, and sometimes very faintly. And here's a big myth buster. A manganese glow does not mean the glass is old. Some glass-making companies use manganese well into the mid-20th century and even into the 1980s. Others stopped earlier. Recipes changed constantly. Most of my EAPG glows green under 365, and some doesn't glow at all. Both are normal. Also important, there is no such thing as clear uranium glass. If a clear glass glows under 365, you're almost certainly seeing manganese. Selenium glows a peachy pink or orange. Remember the flea market dish? A pink, peach, or orange glow is usually selenium. If it glows pink, it's not uranium. Cadmium glows an orange or red. And cadmium is responsible for many warm color glasses like amberina and red-orange glass. Lead, often called flint glass, gives a blue or whitish glow. It can glow a soft blue, a white, and sometimes yellowish, but the glow varies wildly depending on the lead percentage, other impurities, and the glass thickness, which is why UV alone cannot reliably identify flint or data piece. This is the most important takeaway from today's video. A UV light will not tell you who made a piece. It will not tell you the pattern. It will not tell you the exact age, and it will not confirm authenticity on its own. What it does do is give you a clue about chemical composition, insight into glass-making choices, and one data point among many. Reproduction glass can glow. Older glass can fail to glow. Modern makers have reused old formulas and even old molds. UV is one tool in the toolbox alongside weight, mold wear, pattern detail, provenance. If you rely on UV alone, you're going to be misled. Some of my EAPG glows some shade of green under 365, and some doesn't, and that's okay. It just makes it interesting. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments. Do you carry a UV light when you're hunting? If so, do you carry a 365 or a 395? Or maybe both? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.